Tim Cook. Interesting how my introduction is always so bland. When I just throw the name out there, right? That's just how I am, right? Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two, combine them into one. Something like that. Let it thaw out, would you? Or possibly even heat it. So, yes, Tim Cook, when it comes to Apple CEO. Yes, a chamber room with that, as in a boardroom, right? The man above the stars with that, and Steve Jobs being gone, yeah, and changes and alterations for good, and evolution too, moving forward in the progression of technology. The iPad value, everybody, well, not everybody, because there are in fact people that go for the off-brand in place of Apple, right? Not everybody can afford an Apple iPad, right? That's cool. I prefer off-brand as well as on-brand. That does make sense, and yet it doesn't. I prefer Apple, and yet I prefer those that are not completely Apple. Same with my food. I might like Doritos, and yet I might like Great Value, which is a store-bought brand. Same two flavors, and yet two different brands. That makes sense, right? Kind of. So Tim Cook, Apple CEO, admits the iPad is the most popular computer in the world. It is, despite whatever we may or may not agree with Apple, or even a Steve Jobs when he was alive, and his attitude, and yeah, I'll leave that alone. So Apple sold 44.2 million iPads worldwide. This is right here in 2018. The numbers roll in. Apple sold 44.2 million iPads worldwide, all being the highest sales of any major computer manufacturer, stated by Apple. 44.2 million. On Tuesday, Apple announced a new iPad Pro along with an updated MacBook Air and Mac Mini. I'm kind of like going before, as in jumping before, which is why I'm messing up, right? So on Tuesday, Apple announced a new iPad Pro along with an updated MacBook Air and Mac Mini. The iPad again has reached, I just said that, 44.2 million. That number keeps jumping out because it's so high. It's so high. We got 7.8 billion people. Is it 7.6 billion or 7.8 billion people? You would think that the number would be a little bit more jacked or something like that, right? Worldwide sales the highest of any major, consider Dell. When I say that number being high, consider Dell, consider Lenovo, consider HP. Those are all, in fact, the competitors of Apple. So Apple is a top rated. Here in America, individuals, I don't, but many in mass populations, in fact, follow the leader. Not following Tim Cook, no. They usually go where everybody else go. Even in marketing and advertising will do that to you, right? I love Apple, but that's to say I'm not going to buy every single product of mine as an Apple just because everybody has it. It helps to be different sometime. But yet to help sell Apple is for me even to put their name out, even in a good word indeed, as I'm doing. If you like Apple, then go with that, right? So the competitors are in fact Dell, Lenovo, HP. When it comes to the closeness and competition, HP came close, standing at 36.9 million in sales. 36.9 million is close to Apple's 44.2 million. Cook shared the figures in New York. While he was in Brooklyn, he shared those figures. So that's to say he's a proud man over the work that has been done, all individuals himself as well as teams included. iPad sales consist of several versions such as iPad Mini, iPad, and iPad Pro. The tablets, you want to know the pricing if you do or you don't get into those sort of things. Most of us, in fact, do. Not all. because even my figures can be off, right? Tablets start at $329. When I said not everybody can afford it. If you can't afford it, I shouldn't say that. Go buy a knockoff. Not a knockoff Apple, but buy something else cheaper or something. To promote Apple the right way is for me to say, and yet not everybody got the funds to foot the bill, and even that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Going for something cheaper, possibly slimmer or lighter, I don't know, and what you can afford. Not trying to keep up with the Joneses if you don't have it. It helps to be wise and even simple, and me even naming and calling an issue a shout out on those type of people. Because I myself, when it comes to, oh, can I afford this or can I afford that, I try to go with the lowest, minuscule, cheap, saving money with that, despite loving Apple. In fact, my iPod is somewhere around me. I ain't gonna even be fake about that. Well, in fact, iPod Classic is what I'm rocking and rolling with. My iPod Classic right there is what I'm rocking and rolling with. And I'm on a MacBook, various ones, to be honest with you, right? And yet if you can't afford is to try something else. I said that 2 or 3 times. So the tablets start at $329 and can cost as much as almost $1,300. That's a bit much. The operating system is Apple's mobile operating, iOS. People, do a lot of times follow the crowd as in the fitting in. I ain't never been one to walk around trying to fit in. It helps to be a loose string, as in hanging out away from the crowd and buying things. I go for Apple, as I said, I'm on the MacBook. I go for Apple not because everybody has it. No, I go for functionability purposes. Everything I do is always for a function purpose. How can I use this in a way where it's not going to cause issues or break down and it's going to last me a few years? Because see, not my first MacBook, I should say one of my first, because when you done had numerous things, it's to say, well, how long have you been doing what you have been doing? What was the purpose? What was going on in the atmosphere? What was changing with that? What was shifting even in technology, right? Was it more evolving or standing still with that? One of my very first Macs, I should say, was purchased around the year of 2011, 2012, right? And because it functions so well, on and off the game, is to say, well, I in fact need another one. And possibly another one after that. Because to not attain viruses, all my other computers, and that's not to speak a bad word about other brands in the marketing and advertising or even developers, but all my other stuff outside of Apple MacBook has been a disaster rate. To go through 5 or 6 computers, 15, whatever, right? And have them all destroyed by the ways of my own hands, by me just typing and being flimsy, and yet not doing too much damage on the keys, and yet not too much damage on the inside, and yet somehow doing it without not completely. Some computers being bought straight from the manufacturer, and they're already damaged by the time they make ways to your hands. It's to say, well, by the time you get it, it's going to malfunction already in the process. Hell, sometimes even this Mac does it, and I don't know why. It could be because a lot of stuff has been placed on it, programs, right? And the clock and all that possibly be off or zoned out. I don't know. But anything outside of Apple in the computer form does not serve me too well. And I've seen that. I'm on one laptop right now. My other one is sitting next. I, in fact, damaged it myself. An individual banged into it, so it wasn't really me, right? But I still take responsibility. And yet, if that sort of thing would never have happened from 2012 to now, there has never been any issues with that MacBook. That shows you the building in that. The quality with that sort of thing. Now, if I do anything that's outside of a Apple MacBook or all the rest, it be all type of issues with that. The computer more than likely ain't gonna last me even 2 years if I do anything outside of Apple, because I'm known and prone to get viruses, stuff like that. I gotta always have a protection with that sort of thing. And even MacBooks and all the rest, or iPads and all that, can in fact gain viruses, right? But something about on the Apple MacBooks or even Apple products is always seems to be much more safer. The security aspect. Now, what people fail to realize sometimes, the longer you go, because people was more so, they liked it, the plug and play. Plug and play is when you plug something in and it's quicker to get it up and running and going right without it being all complex that even a young child can use it, and possibly even an older adult, such as elderly people, can use it, right? Computers, right? Which is why many in fact went with Windows operating the operating system and all the rest, right? The plug and play and that. And yes, security issues be there. And even so with Mac, as time go on, more than likely there's going to be more security issues. It's already there and yet not completely halfway, because to know that hackers are involved in tearing up stuff and tearing stuff down and getting in stuff and leaking information is to say that's fun and game for them, right? Not for the public, right? But the more people use certain specific design products, the more the public goes for those specific products, such as using more Macs and Apple than they do, say, Dell or Microsoft stuff, right? It's to say that's where hackers are going to be driven to gain access and go over where everybody's using certain operating systems more than others. Is to say, well, we might as well go over here where everybody's using Apple more so than go over here where everybody's using Windows. That just makes more sense to a hacker. Various thousands of hackers, possibly 100,000. You possibly don't even know that they're there, right? It makes more sense for them to go there, go where everybody is. Everybody's on Macs, Apple products. Let's go there and drive past Windows. Or we might do Windows, take care of that in our free time or something crazy like that. People do all type of things, right? But I like these MacBooks. I like how they're designed and all that. Sometimes this one gets shitty, and I said that, yes it does, with the malfunctioning. I don't know what that is. Could have been something I put on here. I said that the program or something, right? And yet overall their products are in fact good. So that's an endorsement from my own end to even Apple over there, Tim Cook and all the rest. Because I like the Valley. We're designers and all that work, have been known to work for Apple and all the rest. When it comes to Silicon Valley and all the rest, I like stuff like that. I do. So recommended for you. Shouts out to Paula. Shouts outs to Lieutenant Joe Kenda. That's my dude, right? Disappeared. All these shows in fact hold descriptions. To scroll past is to get through, as in a pass through. Unlock episodes: The Last Defense Season 1, Episode 1. You can scroll through these yourself if you take the time and come on here. Live now is in fact Ice Code Killers. The ID logo sits up above. ID Go Original Series. All shows. Support the Save the Children's hurricane relief efforts. Click donate here for that. To be directed on the outside to the crime feed, yes, crimefeed.com, where all the crime feed news is in fact awaiting you, is to click right within here. You're going to be directed on the outside to the crime feed. To receive a newsletter is to type in your email address and click next, and you would in fact receive that sort of thing, the newsletter. So leave a comment in the comment section. This was in fact a basic video. What do you feel and think and believe about Apple products? Are you with them or are you against them? How do you feel about Tim Cook? How do you feel about Steve Jobs being gone? What do you feel? Where do you feel technology is in fact headed, future-wise? Do you fear artificial intelligence? When I had that discussion about how humans will be replaced by AI, artificial intelligence, such as robotic automation and all the rest, there's people that fear that sort of thing. And yet you can't replace humans all the way. That's to say that humans are in fact going to foot the bill of becoming freelancers, such as working from home, working out of home offices with MacBooks and Apple, or not MacBooks and Apples, MacBooks and Dells and Microsoft, whatever, right? Whatever you choose, your jive. That's to say where humans are going to be working by the year 2030. That's more so when all the robotics and AI is going to be more becoming well advanced. For a job you'll own to be replaced by a robot is to say you're going to have to do something else, and more than likely it's going to be working from your own home office as a freelancer. Don't let all the rest of that other information put you into fear with that, because robots can't completely place you. Something else usually follows that. You coming up with your own creative substance and putting it to work. So I think that's all to be said for now. I'm going to end this video out and I'll be back. And I'm gone.